Today we are celebrating women in the sideline of International Women's Day commemorations. The theme is Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. I believe that investing in women is not only a basic human rights issue, but it's a necessary foundation for a prosperous and sustainable world.
It's a particular event with a roundtable incorporated with very strong panelists.
The Africa Women Champions, which has grown so fast. We are celebrating 4 years of existence of this program. We launched it 8 March in 2000.
I'm talking about we have women in the low-paying jobs and who rise very slowly through the leadership positions. Yet those conditions of work for health workers as well as the care of workers, care of those who seek care in the health system, needs to be influenced by those gender-sensitive decision-making qualities.
Thank you so much, Constance, and all the organizers at UNV and WHO for having me. It's really an honor to be with all of you today. I'm very passionate about all these issues. So having access to a discussion with such prominent women like yourselves is really an honor for me. Thank you. So yes, I think for me, education is one of the most potent tools that we have for breaking the cycles of poverty and inequality that have marginalized half of the population of the world historically. For me, education equips women with knowledge, skills, confidence to pursue their ambitions and contribute to the economy as a whole. Just to talk about my personal experience, I've also found myself in the education sector. It was for my own kids that I had to go and, create the American School of Brazzaville and create the African Foundation for Education to achieve the creation of the American International School of Brazzaville. It's because of my own kids that I found myself in the education sector. But then when you enter this sector, you realize all the gaps, the disparities, and really the difference between girls and boys. And you realize that it's a sector where there's so much to do. And that in Africa, if all of us don't go into that sector somehow, doing something to educate particularly our girls, we will find ourselves in a situation where half of us are just on the side of the road. Education for me is crucial, capital, important for African women. It starts with girls in school, but it continues with everything I heard this morning through the word of Dr. Moeti and also what you said, Constance, earlier. You have invested in your own education. Women have to invest in themselves. For anybody to believe in them, I think it's good that you see a woman, even when she gets to a professional position, working to build her capacity with professional trainings and even discussions like the one we're just having right now, to empower women, give them knowledge, give them information, tell them what are the tools that are available for women to get more educated, because you can never stop educating yourself. I think for me, until the day you die, you still have things to learn. The second part of your question was about, I think it was about how should education fostering gender equality look like. For me, it has to go through inclusive curriculum and representation. We should have, in textbooks, in learning materials, and things like that, women that are role models, that are examples, that are leaders, that are innovators. We should talk more about them so that the young girls can identify in those women and see themselves in them in the future. It will really help when they know that they can become those women in the future. It will help them, focus on their education. If they only have male role models around them, it doesn't make things easy for these girls to, identify. As I said earlier also, the encouragement of STEM participation for girls. I think it's really important that we tell them that all these professions related to science and engineering, which really help transform our society, are not professions only for men, but also for girls and young women. We should also, for me, make sure that we have a safe and supportive learning environment for our girls. Because, with being the founder of a school, we often talk about all these issues with harassment, bullying, etc. When we gather between ourselves, people who manage schools, it's really an issue today in our today's world. Make sure that girls go into schools that are, safe for them, where they feel well and they feel nurtured and they feel that it's an environment where they can learn, they can play, and that they can thrive. It's really important that people really acknowledge the presence of women and, don't behave like, half of the population is not women. And it's hard to say it like that, but it still happens that people think that this is only a man's word. And we really need to make ourselves heard. And I also think that, our commitment and engagement into our community is so important to make sure that education that we receive fosters gender equality. It's important that women get out there and go into the political world, into the community just around you. When we heard politics, sometimes women are afraid because they think that it's big things. It's not always the case. Politics and advocacy in your community to make sure that your community is improving and takes into account the women and the girls who are into this community is very, very important. Otherwise, people are talking with their own voice and your voice is not being heard.
We are able to push ourselves forward because we understand our stories. Where there's no shame, there'll be no perfectionism. There'll be more authentic growth, and then we'll be showing up for each other better, and we'll be showing up for ourselves much better.
We have been given certain opportunities. We need to know how those opportunities are actually, because sometimes you actually don't invest in yourself materially speaking, but what others have invested in you, if you own it, you possess it, you value it, then you use it to produce something that is beautiful.
It's really try to be you and base yourself on your own interests, your self-interest. What is important for you in life? And as soon as you have a passion that you're pursuing, invest yourself in it. If it takes more education on the topic, if it takes, more books to read or more conversations with the people around you to make sure that you're pursuing that passion and that particular topic in your life, you will succeed. All paths are different. You can't have the exact same path as someone else. That's what I think. Everybody is unique. Each community you're doing your life in is unique and doesn't look like any other. So what I really think is that people should pursue their own passion, but women should invest in themselves, in their health, as Doreen said, in their mental and physical health, and in their own education. Just to go back to that same topic over and over again, educate yourself, please, because Africa needs knowledgeable people. Africa needs experts. Africa needs people who can transform Africa through projects, concrete, materialized, that you can see, that Africa can show.
Vive WHO pour tout ce que vous avez fait pour chacune d'entre nous. Merci du fond du cœur et à très bientôt.
Merci.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much.